it can hit you just like that. When your disc herniates, bulges, or even degenerates, the pain can come on very suddenly. So I'm going to cover the 3 reasons why discs have injuries, as well as how to avoid a scary. My name is Dr. Isaac Muga with Lifetime Wellness and Chiropractic here in Denver, and this happened to me. I want to share my story with you, but first, if you can, follow us for more great content and share as well. Thank you. So what happened to me was about 10 years ago. I'd already been a chiropractor for 5 years. And I developed a severe episode of low back pain. It went down my legs some. I had numbness and tingling in my lower legs and into my feet. I was in bad shape. I barely could get my shoes on in the morning. I barely could get my pants on. I couldn't play with my daughter. I could barely do anything to help out around the house. And I was definitely very concerned for my future. Could I continue to be a chiropractor? Could I continue to help people the way I wanted to? Did I need to have a surgery? I didn't want any medication or a surgery, but this continued for 6 weeks until I changed how I was taking care of myself. And that opened the door for me to help change the way I was taking care of my patients and clients. It's been over 10 years. I've not had another episode like that at all, not even close. And that's what I bring to help my patients with. And I want to help you as well. But here's the 3 main causes for disc injury. The first is going to be a degenerative disc, where this padding between the 2 bones in the spine, where this material gets thinner and thinner and thinner, and it can't even become bone on bone. This is an issue that's typically associated with past injuries, but your body compensating, keeping itself from being able to move the way it's supposed to, which allows that disc to get thinner, 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 and thinner until, boom, you have pain come out of nowhere. I've seen people where it's pretty much fused here, where they have not had really any symptoms leading up to that episode that causes them pain. Maybe they have had some stiffness, but that's a symptom. And symptoms are telling us, hey, there's something going on with our body. Some symptoms, though, scream louder than others. Now, the second one. So what also can happen is that the disc here on the side can bulge out, okay? Instead of it being nice and smooth like this, it actually gets a bulge down here where that opening is with my finger, and it puts pressure on these nerves that come out of the spine. And that can happen from a similar instance of a lack of movement. Maybe it's poor repetitive, poor ergonomics, being hunched over on your computer, typing away, or being on devices, looking down at your phone or your laptop, or just looking at your monitor. So those are some of the ways that the stress on the disc gets changed and goes to the front, which causes it to want to push back and bulge even towards where the spinal cord is in the back here. So it can also go towards the nerve roots as well, that bulge. That's the second reason. Now, the third reason here is that the disc can actually herniate, which means it pops out of the edge and comes out. It can go in all different directions. It could go towards the front. It could go to the side. It could come towards the back of the vertebrae as well, which is where the spinal cord is. And this can definitely cause numbness and tingling into the arms, into the legs, even sciatica. Could cause even like numbness, tingling in the saddle region, down in, yes, the crotch. And so this issue with the herniated disc, the disc can actually even come free of itself and start floating around. That's definitely something that can be very severe and significant. MRIs can be very helpful with determining what extent the disc is injured, but sometimes I'd say there's a majority of times where you don't even have to have an MRI, maybe an X-ray, so we can get an idea of what's going on with the structure, because structure dictates function. If I'll just use myself for a quick example, but if my ear is supposed to be over my shoulders and it's not, it's way out here, it's putting a lot of stress onto the front of those discs, and it wants to push that material backwards, as well as it can cause that material to wear down. So if I'm in a poor position, ergonomically speaking, it puts a ton of stress onto the discs. Another thing that can happen is a slip and fall. that can cause a direct injury to the disc. The other thing could be like lifting and twisting. That is a very dangerous combination of movements for discs. Could even be in a car accident and have whiplash. Those are all in types of situations that could cause or lead to a disc injury, but it can also be that repetitive stress of poor ergonomics. So what can you do though to help avoid these three types of disc injuries, of the disc degeneration, disc bulge, and disc herniation? Well, if you have that happen, what can you do to avoid the scary surgery? You can do several things. And those items are, I made a list for myself so I don't forget them. But one is you definitely want to get movement. So every day you want to get up and move. Bed rest is typically not actually an ideal scenario for your body to be in. It's meant to move. If your body's not moving, it's degenerating, which means it's decaying essentially. So you need movement. There are certain movements that if you're in an acute situation can be very helpful. We'll talk about those and provide a resource as well. But there's centralizing exercises. Just for example, if this was to happen in my neck, I might find a combination of movements that say, hey, putting my hand up here on top of my head, also leaning my head back and looking up, bring me relief. If that's bringing you relief, you want to repeat that movement maybe 10 times an hour, okay, as you're awake. But you want to find relieving positions and movements to help take that stress off that nerve as well as the disc, to help allow your body to rest and recover. Even putting a pillow underneath your knee, 1 or 2 pillows underneath your knees when you're trying to sleep on your back, that will take a lot of pressure off your lower back if you're having low back issues. I did that for myself. That was definitely very helpful. Also, there's strengthening exercises you can do, as well as you need to make sure that you have more of an ideal posture where you want the center of your ear when you're standing up, center of your ear, center of shoulder, center of hip, and then your ankle bone, all to be lined up. If you're sitting, then it's the first 3 that you want to have lined up to have an ideal center of gravity. And then there's definitely chiropractic can help restore balance to the body when it's out of balance. The imbalance can definitely occur very easily just from poor ergonomics or repetitive stresses. Some people, if you were to put your feet onto 2 scales, 1 on each one, you're going to see that there's a discrepancy. One side's going to potentially weigh more. Imagine if you're walking around day in and day out, exercising, doing everything you're doing, and you have this imbalance. Well, one side's going to wear down much quicker. You can definitely understand that. Or if your hips are out of alignment, one side's going to wear down much quicker. And it's going to create a problem that can just show up just like that. It doesn't have to be a slip and fall or an injury or a car accident to cause this pain to come out of nowhere. I've seen it happen for myself. I've seen it happen for other people. So I've been there. This has happened to me. I want to help you know what the options are so you can avoid drugs and surgeries so you can be your best and be able to do the things that are meaningful for you. So my name is Dr. Isaac again. Please like and follow us to get more great content. And if you have any questions, reach out.